I know this makes no sense, but the first time I realized something was wrong in my marriage was the morning I found a receipt inside my left shoe. Yeah, not under it, not near it, inside it. It was from a gas station I'd never been to, 3:47 a.m., 2 counties over, 2 bottles of water, a pack of gum, and a bouquet of flowers. I stood there, barefoot, holding that crumpled little strip of paper like it was radioactive. Emily was still asleep in bed. I remember watching her chest rise and fall like nothing in the world was broken, like we were just two people in love, navigating the mess of life together. But I knew immediately, this wasn't mine, and I live alone in this house with my wife. No guests, no friends over, no borrowed shoes. Just me, my size 11s, and a growing pit in my stomach. The worst part? It wasn't even my shoe. It was hers. But she doesn't wear my sneakers. Ever. She thinks they're shaped like boats. So why did I find a men's gas station receipt inside them? I wish I could say that's when I confronted her, that I marched into the bedroom like a man with a spine and demanded answers. But I didn't. I stood there like an idiot, just holding this random receipt and staring at a woman I no longer understood. It's not that I didn't suspect things before. I had. There were signs. Late nights. Dodge questions. New perfume, she said, was a sample from the mail. I even saw a missed call from a number saved under the name Mom, once, even though her mom passed away in 2019. But I didn't act. I didn't even ask, because some part of me thought that if I didn't say it out loud, it wouldn't be real. I had this quiet little hope that it was all in my head, that maybe I was tired, paranoid, insecure, weak. God, I feel so weak. Because what kind of man stands there holding a stranger's receipt from a 3 a.m. flower run, finds it in his own shoe, and still decides to go make coffee like nothing happened? Me, apparently. I spent the rest of that morning in silence. I didn't ask her anything, just watched her eat yogurt and check her emails while my brain screamed, "Who did you buy flowers for?" I waited until she left for work. Then I started digging. Phone. Locked. Laptop. Password changed. Purse. Empty, weirdly empty. Like she knew I might look. But then I checked the closet. Her suitcase, the small one she used for conferences, was still zipped up on the top shelf. I pulled it down. It was light, almost empty, except for one thing. A receipt. Another one. This time from a motel. Same night. Same town as the gas station. The name on the reservation? Not hers. Not mine. Just J. Callan. And I wish this were the part where I finally snapped, where I stood up and did something about it. But I didn't. I took the suitcase, put it back, and I went to work. Because something inside me broke months ago, maybe years ago, and I didn't know it until a stranger's motel receipt showed up in my shoe like a message from the universe. That was 3 weeks ago. I haven't said anything. I sleep beside her. I kiss her goodnight. I ask how her day was, like I don't already know where she goes when she works late. But she started acting weird now. Not guilty. Not sorry. Like she knows I know. And the worst part? I think she's waiting for me to do something. Or worse. She's planning something first. 3 days after the receipt incident, something subtle shifted. I didn't notice it at first. I was brushing my teeth when I reached for the house keys in the ceramic dish by the door, the dish they've always been in, and they weren't there. I checked the kitchen counter. Nothing. The hook by the laundry room? Empty. My coat pockets? Nope. But here's the strange part. They were exactly where I left them, just 10 minutes later. Sitting in the dish like they'd never been touched. Now, I know how this sounds. You're probably thinking I misplaced them. Maybe I knocked them off without noticing. But I'm telling you, I stood in that doorway staring at the empty bowl, feeling something crawl under my skin. When I came back from the bedroom, they were just back. Like someone was trying to gaslight me. Or warn me. Or both. I wanted to confront her right then. But how do you accuse your wife of something so absurd? Hey, did you move my keys and then put them back just to mess with my head? Sounds crazy, right? And maybe it is. But there was a flicker in her eyes that morning. Not fear, not guilt, something closer to amusement. Like she was waiting to see if I'd say anything. I didn't. That same day, I got a text from an unknown number. Just one sentence. She knows you found the receipt. I stared at it, so long my phone locked itself. I tried calling back. No answer. I texted back, "Who is this?" and got nothing. The number was gone by morning. Deleted somehow. Not even in my recent calls. Here's where it gets worse. The next evening, I was in the garage, looking for a screwdriver, when I noticed a familiar envelope sticking out from behind a stack of paint cans. My name was on it, written in Emily's handwriting. I didn't open it. I don't know why. Some twisted instinct told me not to. I put it back exactly where I found it, like if I touched it too much, something would unravel. I don't even know what I'm scared of anymore. Her? Myself? The idea that maybe this whole thing has been orchestrated? The way she's been looking at me lately isn't normal. It's not apologetic. It's not defensive. It's like she's studying me. Like she's waiting for the moment I break. And maybe she knows how close I am to doing exactly that. Yesterday, I got home early from work. She wasn't supposed to be there. Her car wasn't in the driveway. But when I walked inside, I could hear the shower running upstairs. The bedroom door was open. The bed was made. Her phone was charging on her side of the nightstand. And there, placed perfectly in the center of my pillow, was the gas station receipt I'd hidden in my sock drawer. The one I thought I'd taken with me to work to throw away. She found it. She put it there. No note. No explanation. I stood in the hallway, listening to the water run upstairs, and I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not fear. Not anger. Something worse. Resignation. I didn't go up. I walked out the front door, got in my car, and drove around until after dark. When I finally came home, she was in the kitchen making tea. Calm. Smiling. She said, "You look tired. Everything okay?" And I just nodded. Because what else could I do? I'm not sure what game she's playing, but she's playing it better than I am. And I'm starting to wonder if she ever actually stopped seeing him, or if this was never just about an affair. Because whatever she's doing now, it's not about love. It's about control. And I think she wants me to lose mine. The house has a doorbell camera. We installed it 2 years ago after a neighbor's kid got their bike stolen. I'd forgotten about it, honestly. We never checked it unless a package went missing. And even then, Emily was the one who reviewed the footage. She had the app on her phone. I didn't. But after the receipt showed up on my pillow, after the keys, the texts, and the envelope I still hadn't opened, I remembered it. Not because I wanted answers, but because I needed to prove to myself I wasn't losing my grip on reality. So, that night, while she was asleep, I downloaded the app on my phone and logged in using the old shared password. There were hours of footage. Dozens of clips. Mostly boring. Squirrels, deliveries, us coming and going. But then I went to Tuesday at 3:41 a.m. The time stamped on the gas station receipt. Nothing. No car leaving the driveway. No door opening. No movement at all. That made no sense. I watched from 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Still nothing. It was like time skipped. Like she disappeared without ever leaving. I checked the interior hallway cam. The one pointed toward the front door. Same thing. Static. Just silence. It felt like being punched by something invisible. My breath caught, my fingers started shaking, and I realized I was sweating. I looked at the file history again. Some clips were just missing. There were entire chunks of data from early morning hours that had no thumbnails. No video. Just file not found. I don't know how long I sat there staring at the screen, but I do know I jumped out of my skin when the bedroom floor creaked behind me. I turned. She was standing in the hallway. Not angry. Not confused. Just there. Barefoot. Wearing one of my old hoodies. Her hair slightly damp, like she'd just showered. But it was past 2 a.m. She didn't say anything. Just looked at me. Then looked at the phone in my hand. "What are you watching?" she asked softly. "Just checking something," I replied. I meant to sound casual. I think I sounded like I was choking. She walked past me into the kitchen, poured a glass of water. I sat frozen in the living room, pretending to scroll Instagram, heart pounding like it was trying to signal an emergency. Then she walked back, leaned over, kissed the top of my head, and said, "You should get some sleep." That was it. That was the whole interaction. I barely slept that night. When I woke up, she was already gone. No note, no text. Her side of the bed still warm. I tried to make myself believe it was nothing, that the footage could have glitched, that maybe she knew the system better than I did and could delete clips, maybe to hide something unrelated. Maybe she was embarrassed. Maybe she just didn't want me to see something innocent that looked bad. But then I remembered. She hadn't been in the hallway when I checked the camera. She hadn't known I was watching security footage. And yet somehow, she showed up right behind me the moment I hit play. Almost like she already knew I'd be there. And now I can't shake this feeling that I'm not just being lied to. I think I'm being watched. I didn't even realize the mirror had moved until I went in there to change the light bulb. The guest room doesn't get used much. It's mostly just a storage space now. Boxes of old books, a broken humidifier, a treadmill we both pretended we'd use. The bed stays made but untouched. Nothing changes in there. That's what made it so strange when I walked in and saw the mirror, the tall one with the black wood frame we bought from a flea market years ago, now placed directly across from the bed. It used to sit angled near the window, catching light in the mornings. But now, it was dead center, facing the mattress, like someone had positioned it for a reason. I stood there, confused, half a new bulb in my hand, just staring at my own reflection. The bed behind me looked like it had been slept in. Slight crease on the pillow, a faint depression in the blanket. We hadn't had a guest in months. Emily hadn't mentioned moving anything. And honestly, that's not her style. She doesn't quietly rearrange furniture. If she wants something different, she makes a Pinterest board and tells me to help her on a Sunday. Still, I didn't say anything. Just changed the bulb and stepped out, but not before glancing one last time into the mirror. There was something unsettling about it now. It used to feel warm, vintage. Now it felt cold, clinical, like something that belonged in a surveillance room, not a home. Later that night, while Emily was taking a bath, I went back in. This time I brought my phone and took a photo, just to prove to myself I wasn't imagining it. I was about to leave when I noticed something else. The closet door was cracked open. I don't remember it being open before. And we always keep it shut, mostly because the latch sticks and it doesn't stay open unless you wedge something in. Inside, nothing looked immediately wrong. Coats, old blankets, Christmas stuff. But just as I was about to close it, I saw something tucked behind a shoebox on the top shelf. It was a small velvet pouch. Inside was a necklace I'd never seen before. A locket. Old, tarnished silver. I opened it, expecting a photo, maybe something from her grandmother. Instead, there was a tiny square of folded paper, no bigger than a postage stamp. I unfolded it. All it said was, "He knows." My throat closed. I stood in that room, holding this little message like it was a bomb. And suddenly, I could feel something behind me. Not a sound, not even a movement, just that unmistakable instinct. I turned quickly. No one. The hallway was empty. I shoved the note and locket back into the pouch, dropped it into my coat pocket, and closed the closet door harder than I meant to. The mirror rattled slightly, but didn't fall. I left the room, trying to look normal, calm, casual. I even hummed to myself walking back to the kitchen like some lunatic who believes that whistling in a horror movie keeps the demons away. When she came downstairs 10 minutes later, wearing that long green robe she only wears when she's trying to appear soft, harmless, she kissed my forehead and asked if I'd checked the mail. I said I had. I didn't mention the mirror, or the guest bed, or the note, because I don't think this is just about cheating anymore. I think she's hiding something. I think she's preparing for something. And that mirror, that's not for a guest. That's for me. I found her old phone while looking for a power strip. That's all I was trying to do. We were rearranging the living room. Well, she was rearranging, I was just following directions, and I remembered we had an extra power strip in one of the drawers in the office. But when I opened the second drawer, beneath a stack of dead cables and unopened mail, I saw it. Her old phone. The one she stopped using last year when she upgraded. A dusty black iPhone with a cracked corner. She told me she'd traded it in. She even showed me the paperwork. I remember because she made a point of saying how proud she was for finally not hoarding tech junk. So why was it in the drawer? At first, I didn't touch it. I just stared at it like it might start ringing. I could hear her moving furniture downstairs, music playing faintly, Fleetwood Mac, one of her mood-setting albums she plays when she's pretending everything's perfect. I picked the phone up. It was cold, heavier than I remembered. Dead, of course. I took it into the garage and plugged it in, using one of the random cords in the junk box. It powered on almost immediately. Same wallpaper. A photo of us from a trip to Oregon. Smiling. Holding hands. My eyes were half closed, hers wide and bright like she was seeing something just behind the camera. I entered the passcode. She never changed it. For digits, same as her ATM PIN, which she swore I would forget one day. I didn't. Most of the apps were logged out or deleted. Photos were sparse. Too sparse. Like the phone had been wiped, but not completely. In the camera roll, between screenshots and a few old selfies, there was a folder called Health. It was locked with Face ID, but she must have set it to allow access through passcode too, because when I tapped it, it opened. Inside were two videos. The first one was nothing, Just a video of her at the gym, talking to the camera about her routine. Harmless. Normal. Something she probably meant to post and never did. The second one was different. It was shot in the guest room. The lights were off, and the only illumination came from the hallway. Emily was in the frame, but barely. She was standing to the side, just out of full view, whispering something I couldn't quite hear. Then she stepped back and revealed the mirror. Except it wasn't just a mirror. It was a reflection, but not of her. It was me, sleeping, in the guest bed. I don't remember that. I have never, not once, slept in that room. And yet there I was, in the video, turned away from the camera, curled slightly, like I was in the middle of a deep sleep. Emily just stood there, watching, filming, not saying anything anymore. The recording went on for 37 seconds before she slowly stepped out of frame and the video cut off. I watched it 3 times, trying to find any sign it was fake, a trick, some bizarre in-joke I'd forgotten. But it wasn't. The timestamp was from 3 weeks ago. That night, I had a migraine. I remember because I took something and knocked out early. I thought I'd slept in our room. But now, after seeing that, I'm not so sure. I didn't delete the video. I didn't move the phone. I unplugged it, powered it down, and put it in my toolbox under a pile of wrenches I never use. I didn't say anything to her that night. She made spaghetti. We ate in silence. She asked if I'd thought about taking a weekend trip soon. Just to reconnect, she said. She smiled. I nodded. But every time she looked at me, I could feel it. The question she wasn't asking. The question I was afraid to answer. Does she know I saw the video? And more importantly, what else don't I remember? I never noticed there were 2 thermostats in the house until yesterday. One in the hallway, the one we always used, an old digital unit we've had since we moved in. The other, I found purely by accident. It was hidden behind a large canvas painting in the laundry room. One of those abstract things Emily insisted we hang even though it didn't match anything else in the house. I only moved it because I dropped a detergent bottle behind the dryer, and I was trying to reach it without pulling the whole thing out. When I shifted the painting, I saw it. Smaller, newer, no brand label. Just a smooth black panel embedded into the wall. No dust around the edges. It had been used, recently. I stared at it for a long time, like it might explain itself if I waited long enough. I touched it. The screen lit up. System, guest wing, manual override enabled. Guest wing? Our house has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and no wings. There is no smart system in the house. Nothing fancy. We barely figured out how to pair the Bluetooth speaker. So what the hell was this? I tapped a few buttons, but most of it was locked behind a passcode. I stepped back, looked at the painting, then at the panel, then just stood there trying to do the math on how many things in this house I actually understood. It was terrifying how short the list was. I went to find her, but she wasn't home. Said she had errands. She texted me a photo from the farmer's market, holding a bunch of kale I know she won't eat. Smiling like everything was sunny and warm and sane. I stared at the image, trying to picture the version of her that had installed a hidden thermostat, that had filmed me sleeping, that had somehow managed to erase camera footage and place a receipt in my shoe and leave notes in closets. Was I being paranoid? Possibly. Was I losing it? Maybe. Probably. But I can't keep pretending things are normal. That evening, I walked through the house room by room, not searching for anything specific, just looking, feeling, noticing. Every picture frame seemed slightly crooked. Every drawer had things that didn't belong. A hammer in the kitchen, a pair of scissors under the couch, 3 phones in her underwear drawer, all dead, all different brands. One of them had a cracked screen and a photo of someone else's child as the wallpaper. I didn't touch them. I just closed the drawer. I don't think she's just cheating anymore. I don't even think this is about me. It's like I walked into the middle of something that had already started long before I noticed. Like this house, our marriage, our routines, all of it, was just the stage. And I'm the only one who didn't get a copy of the script. Last night, around 2:30 a.m., I heard the sound of the thermostat clicking. The hallway one stayed off, but I could hear something humming behind the laundry room wall. I didn't get up. I just lay there, eyes wide open, heart beating in slow, deliberate panic. At one point, I thought I heard footsteps downstairs. Not heavy, delicate, like someone walking barefoot with purpose. This morning, she made pancakes, kissed me on the cheek, told me I'd been tossing in my sleep and mumbling, said I sounded upset. I asked her what I said. She smiled, poured syrup on my plate, and said, You kept asking who was in the room with you. Then she walked away. I was never a heavy reader, but we've always had this old bookshelf in the upstairs hallway, filled mostly with things we picked up at garage sales, faded hardcovers, vintage medical encyclopedias, a few old cookbooks that still smell like other people's homes. It's been more decoration than anything else. Until today. She told me she'd be out most of the afternoon. Brunch with Danny, she said, though I haven't heard her mention Danny in at least a year. As soon as the door closed, I stood still in the kitchen for a long time, listening, waiting. Then I went upstairs. Not because I knew what I was looking for, but because the feeling wouldn't let go. That tug in the chest, like something hidden was humming just loud enough to feel, but not hear. I don't know why I opened that specific book. It wasn't a title I recognized, The Anatomy of Solitude. The cover was cracked at the corners, the spine slanted from years of use by someone who wasn't me. I flipped through the first few pages. It read like fiction, maybe poetry. Then about halfway in, I felt something shift inside the binding. The pages were uneven, thicker, altered. There were photos inside, not old ones, not printed from a phone or taken years ago. These were fresh, glossy, high quality. The first photo was of me, sitting in my car, alone. The window rolled down slightly. I was on the phone, head tilted like I was mid-sentence. I don't remember this moment, but it's clearly recent. I'm wearing the same blue jacket I wore last week when I went to pick up takeout. The angle of the shot tells me I didn't see who took it. It's from across the street. The second photo was me again. This time, sleeping on the couch. TV glowing in the background. From behind the hallway arch, just out of my peripheral vision, I felt my stomach twist, a low buzzing rising in my ears. There were more. 11 in total. One of me brushing my teeth, towel slung around my shoulders. One of me standing in the backyard, watering the plants. One of me at night, lying in bed, the covers pulled just below my chin. And this one is from above. From directly above. Like the camera had been on the ceiling. The last photo wasn't of me. It was of Emily. She was standing in the guest room, holding something in her hand. A fork. One of the antique ones from the wedding set. The set we only ever used when guests came. The ones that I thought we'd lost one by one over the years. She was looking into the mirror, not at her reflection, but through it. Her expression was impossible to place. Not angry, not smiling, just blank, intent, like she was waiting for the mirror to answer back. I didn't take the photos. I didn't even touch them after that. I closed the book, gently, like I was afraid it might wake up, and I slid it back into place. An hour later, she came home. She brought back pastries. Said Danny wasn't feeling well, so she grabbed some things and came home early. Then she looked at me and said, "You should go through the bookshelf sometime. You always say you need a new hobby." That was the moment I knew for sure. She's not hiding these things because she's afraid I'll find them. She's leaving them, placing them, curating them like clues in a game only she knows the rules to. She wants me to follow the trail, but only so far. Just enough to ask myself, how long have I been watched? And worse, when did I stop being a husband and start being a subject? It wasn't one moment that changed everything. There was no grand confrontation, no screaming match, no dramatic suitcase at the door. It was something smaller, quieter, like most endings are, I guess. Or maybe beginnings. Last night, I didn't pretend to sleep. I lay in bed, eyes open, listening to the house breathe. The faint whir of the fridge, the occasional groan of the pipes. I stared at the ceiling for hours, my thoughts circling the same drain. Who she really was, how long she'd been orchestrating this strange, psychological maze, and most importantly, what I'd become by staying. And then something unexpected happened. I heard her crying. Not softly, not performatively, not like when people cry just loud enough to be noticed. This was a low, broken, shaking kind of cry, coming from downstairs. For a moment, I thought it might be another manipulation. Another piece of the act, but there was something raw in it. Something I hadn't heard in her voice in a long, long time. I got up and found her sitting on the floor of the guest room. The mirror had been turned to face the wall. Her hair was a mess, her sweater inside out. In front of her was the photo album. The real one, not the one with surveillance photos, the one from our first years together. She looked up at me, startled, eyes red and puffy. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said. "I just didn't know how to stop unraveling." And I believed her. Not all at once. Not completely. But there was a part of me that saw the truth in her face. Not the mystery, not the danger, just a very tired, very lost person who'd been living inside a role she didn't know how to exit. She told me everything. The affair, yes, it was real, but it ended a year ago. She'd wanted to confess, but she panicked when I started noticing things. She started planting distractions, building layers of confusion to keep me from asking the direct question she couldn't answer. And once she started, she didn't know how to stop. It felt like I was building a maze so you wouldn't find the actual door, she said. We talked until the sky turned pale, and then I made a choice. This morning, I packed a single bag, just the essentials. I left her the rest. I didn't yell. I didn't write a bitter note. I just stood in the doorway and told her something I hadn't even known I was going to say until I said it. I forgive you, but I can't live inside a story I didn't write anymore. She nodded, and that was it. I walked outside. The air was cold and clean. I could hear birds. Real ones. Not metaphors. Not warning signs. Just birds. I didn't drive away in anger. I didn't cry. I didn't collapse. I just drove. Now I'm sitting in a tiny rental cabin 2 towns over, surrounded by pine trees and silence. I've slept better here in one night than I have in months. I don't know what comes next. Therapy, probably. Time. Breathing. Real connection. But here's the thing I didn't expect to feel today. Hope. Because I'm no longer in the maze. I'm no longer chasing ghosts. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm finally awake.